World War III. Joining us now is House Financial Services Committee member, Texas Congressman Roger Williams. Congressman Williams, your take on all this, because again, it looks like an administration outside of those tweets earlier this week that is taking its time, being patient, and making sure it has all the correct information before acting.
Well, I think that's the thing to do. There's no question about it. I mean, we've been put in a position in the past where we've drawn red lines, dotted lines, pink lines, and we haven't done anything. And you merely have to see what we saw last week with women and children and being attacked. So we have to do something, and I'm grateful that the President and General Mattis are taking their time. But we are in a tough position, and the world is relying on us to do the right thing. And I support the direction we're going, and let's see what happens. But we cannot turn our back to this.
Congressman Mike Balboni here. There's information that battle groups are steaming towards the Mediterranean to give the military more options as to what they're going to do. In addition to which, the only way to really test whether or not there is, in fact, a chemical attack is through blood and soil samples. So as those pieces of data begin to come together, what do you think is going to be the next steps for this administration?
Well, I think they have to see what the data is, and they have to decide. I mean, there's going to be a point of decision. That's something we haven't done in the past, is to make the decision. We've just talked about it. And we're in a position, I believe now, as America being the strongest military power, we're going to have to react, and we're going to have to show the world that this is not acceptable. It goes back to the Geneva Convention. And when do we defend what's right? So it's a tough call. It really is. When to do it, I can't tell you that. The President will know. But we do need to do something. It's not just talking rhetoric. It's not draw a red line and not do anything.
Meantime, border officials saying, and I know you were tweeting about this because I just saw your Twitter post, so thank you for that, Congressman. Border officials have said that they have arrested an MS-13 gang member at the Arizona border this week and is believed to have ties to the caravan of migrants. President Trump is calling for action, tweeting earlier this: tremendous pressure is building like never before for the border wall and an end to crime cradling sanctuary cities. In San Diego, where the people were pushing really hard to get it, they will soon be protected. Your reaction to all the news on that this morning?
Well, former Secretary of State of Texas before I came to Congress, I know what's happening on the border, and you have to go down there to really believe and to see what's going on. We're doing the right thing by talking about a wall. We're doing the right thing getting more Border Patrol. And we're certainly doing the right thing in sending the National Guard down there. And Governor Abbott today has already said that he plans on sending 1,400 National Guard there. So it's a lot of things going on. I mean, there's these drug cartels. There's MS-13. There's people wanting to come over here for not the right reasons. And we have to defend our border. That's one of the oaths we take. And we need to do it. And I support the efforts that we have going on right now.
Rachel, many people, particularly on the right, President Trump supporters, were disappointed with what was in that omnibus spending bill. Yeah. The lack of funding for new border wall, new parts of the border wall, also no financial restrictions on sanctuary cities. But this is his way of staying on top of what is a critically important issue for his supporters.
Absolutely. I mean, Congressman, how do you feel about President Trump keeping the focus on this? I mean, we saw this when President Obama had the unaccompanied minors come over. We saw an increase in MS-13, but nothing was done. President Trump really brought attention to that again with this caravan, keeping the pressure on, keeping the public focused on this. Do you think all of this attention will give Republicans in Congress another opportunity to make good on the promise of funding for the wall?
Well, there's no question about it, and it continues to. It's real time. It's really happening. And one of the reasons he got elected was because he talked about a border wall and about sovereignty. So we need to get this done. And a border wall is not necessarily brick and mortar everywhere. It's boots on the ground. I've always been a boots on the ground person. But we've got to secure our borders. This is the United States of America, a land of law. We need to adhere to the law. And those that want to come in need to understand that. And then they can realize the American dream. But we've got to keep the full court press on this.
I want to get your take on House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi using Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words yesterday to attack the failed balanced budget amendment. Listen to this, Congressman.
I'm reminded in the course of the debate on the tax bill and on the budget and now the so-called balanced budget amendment of Reverend King's words, God never intended for any group of people to live in superfluous, inordinate wealth while others live in abject, deadening poverty. And now in the so-called balanced budget amendment. The balanced budget amendment is no way balanced.
The top Democrat's net worth is $29.35 million, according to roll call. Your reaction to Nancy Pelosi once again taking aim at the rich?
Well, like you said, she's one of the wealthiest we have in the United States Congress, and where I come from, the $1,000 of crumbs is a lot of money, and people are beginning to see it. We're seeing it in the economy and so forth. So, look, I agree we have to have a balanced budget. We need to do the same thing the states do. We need to do the same thing that our homes and businesses do. We need to do that. I'm glad we took the vote yesterday. It sends a good message, but now we need to react on it. But some of the things that Ms. Pelosi says, you know, really look at herself. I mean, she's capable of writing a check to the federal government for extra money if she wants to. So maybe she should do that and help balance the books.
Congressman, I enjoyed having you here for the reason that you just read my mind. You literally just read my mind. Congressman Roger Williams, take care.